For this project, you will need a superfine yarn and a 4mm crochet hook. You can find the list of the materials in the description box, and if you're new to this channel, my name is Kath and I make crochet tutorials. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at What About Yarn, and if you enjoy watching this video, please consider to hit like and subscribe. Begin with a slip knot and make a chain that will go from the side of the body towards the other side. This chain will be in odd numbers, so for my size that will be 73 chains. At the end, add an extra 3 chains. Then double crochet in the 6th chain from the hook. To do that, you're going to yarn over, insert the hook in the 6th chain, grab the yarn and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops on the hook. Chain 1, skip the next chain, then double crochet in the next chain. So this will be the pattern that you will repeat until the end of the row number 1. At the end of row number 1, continue with row 2 with a chain of 4 and turn your work. Now skip the next chain 1 space, then double crochet in the next double crochet stitch. Chain 1 and then double crochet in the next double crochet stitch. Repeat this until the end of row 2. End of row 2, chain 1, then double crochet in the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 4. From here, you will repeat row 2 until the length of your panel will reach the length from the shoulder down to the waist or down to your desired length. After this, you're going to fasten off and cut the yarn and then repeat the pattern from the beginning to create the second panel. Now, for the second panel, you're not going to fasten off yet. You're going to determine the thickness of the straps. For my size, that would be about 1.5 inch from both sides. Continue with a chain of 4 and turn your work. Row number 1 of the straps, double crochet in the double crochet stitch, chain 1, then double crochet in the next double crochet stitch. Repeat the pattern for the mesh until about 1.5 inch or until your desired thickness for the straps. Chain 4 and turn your work. Then continue with the mesh pattern, and you will repeat this until you have a total of 3 rows of the mesh, but please feel free to extend the number of rows according to your desired length for the straps. Now take the first panel and then connect this with the strap with a back loop slip stitch or with any technique of your choice. Repeat the same pattern for the second straps, and then moving on to the side, we're going to determine the size of the armhole, and you're going to place a stitch marker on both sides of the panel and repeat the same thing for the opposite side. Join the yarn to the corner stitch and then chain 4. From here, we will repeat the pattern for the mesh. So it's basically the same thing as what you did with the straps. So double crochet in the next double crochet stitch, then chain 1, and repeat the pattern for the mesh until you reach the stitch marker. Now remove the stitch marker and let's place our last stitch in there. And that ends row number 1 for the side. Moving on to row number 2, chain 4 and turn your work. And then you're just gonna repeat the pattern for the mesh until you have a total of 3 rows for the side of the panel. Now, if you want to extend the size, you can add as many rows as you want. And then we're just going to connect this to the opposite panel with a back loop slip stitch or with any technique of your choice. After that, you're going to repeat the same pattern for the opposite panel and then fasten off and secure. Then we're moving on to our sleeves. For the sleeves, join the yarn in the side seam of the panel and then chain 4. And then we will repeat the pattern for the mesh again. So double crochet in the next double crochet stitch, chain 1 and double crochet. Repeat this all the way around. When you get to the shoulder part, make sure to add 1 stitch into the shoulder seam, so the shoulder seam will count as part of the stitches. At the end of round number 1, you're going to slip stitch in the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 4, and then repeat the pattern for the mesh, so chain 4, and then continue until you have about 7 rows in total, or until the length of your sleeve will reach just below your shoulders. Now for my size, this will be around 7 rows or 7 rounds. And then at the end, we're going to continue with the ruffles. So chain 3 here will count as 1 double crochet. And then on the chain 1 space, we're going to work 4 double crochet stitches. Next, double crochet into the double crochet stitch. This will be the pattern that you will repeat throughout the stitch at the second last round. At the end of this round, we're going to slip stitch in the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 3. And then moving on to the last round, we're going to chain 3. Chain 3 counts as 1 stitch, and then double crochet into each stitch all the way around. At the end, slip stitch in the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 3, and then chain 1 to close the round. Now you will repeat the same pattern for the second sleeve, and then after that we will do the I-cord. Next, we will make the I-cord for the sleeves and for the front. Take your yarn and fold it in half, so make sure that you have enough length. Make a slip knot, insert the hook into the knot, and we have here the upper strand and the lower strand. Wrap the lower strand into the hook and yarn over and pull through. Wrap the lower strand into the hook, yarn over and pull through. Repeat this process until the length of your I-cord is enough to go around the sleeve of the top. Make another I-cord for the second sleeve and make the 3rd I-cord for the front, which is slightly longer than the sleeves. For my size, that would be about 1/2 meter long for the front. At the end of the I-cord, you're going to make a knot to secure the I-cord. Place the I-cord into the top part of the sleeve and do this all the way around. And then you will repeat the same pattern for the second sleeve as well. And then you're going to make the third I-cord, which is slightly longer than the previous 2 I-cords. And you're going to place this at the middle part of the top. You can also bring the I-cord all the way down to the bottom of the panel, and this will create a more defined cinch for the front. This marks the end of this tutorial. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them down in the comment section below. And if you will make this top, please don't forget to tag me on social media at What About Yarn. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.